The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
A man posing as an intern at the anti-gay conservative so-called pro-family group Family Research Council was posing as an intern, shot at a guard at the office located in Washington, D.C. Now, this is a story that I got countless Twitter messages, Facebook messages, comments, emails, etc., saying I'm not going to talk about this because I only talk about these stories when it's a right-winger or suspected right-winger and it doesn't involve, as a victim, a conservative organization. Obviously, that's bogus. It's just that the majority of the times in this country that we have domestic terror, it happens to be right-wing, and it rarely is against right-wing organizations. So I just talk about the stories as they happen, and of course, I'm talking about this one too.
I cannot remember us talking about a left-wing shooting or us dodging one that was in the media. I can't remember that incident happening.
According to one report, a suspect walked in, started yelling things about the Family Research Council, and opened fire, sources told Fox News, so we always have to be wary when it's Fox News reporting, but it seems to be information that is being repeated elsewhere, that after the guard took away his gun, the suspect said, "Don't shoot me, it was not about you, it was what this place stands for." The suspect is 28-year-old Floyd Corkins from Virginia. Again, tons of messages saying, what will I say? Will I even cover this story? Because I only want to push a certain narrative. It's not about the narrative I want to push. It's about the reality. And we've had certain instances around the world where it has been radical Islam connected to the act of terror. And if in those cases, conservative media absolutely plays that up and says it's representative of a Muslim people. And then we've had many domestic right-wing terror incidents in this country, over 60 attempts over the last 8-10 years, over 20 successful incidents. And in those cases, conservative media will ignore completely the right-wing predilection of the shooter or shooters. And of course, their religion, it's just not a factor when that's the story that is the reality. That's just what it is.
Right.
Now, first of all, I'm going to be very clear. People want to know, what is my response to this? I reject the use of violence, period. I reject the use of violence, period. It doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who the victim is, period. Now, what happened here is wrong. On the whole, most of these incidents are right-wingers. Here's one that isn't, and I'm presenting it to you. I'm reporting it to you. Anecdotally, both exist. Overwhelmingly, the majority of these domestic terror incidents are right-wingers. Now that we've gotten that out, let's talk realistically here. The Family Research Council is an incredibly hateful, disgusting organization, and I support using nonviolent means to protest their agenda and their goals, up to and including shutting them down altogether. And that may be starving them from funding. It may be pushing their views so far to the extreme, to the fringes of society that they just are no longer relevant. But I don't advocate using violence for that, okay? Now, when we want to talk about violent acts, we can't ignore that the Family Research Council shows an incredible amount of aggression towards gays and lesbians, women, clear-thinking individuals of all types around the country who don't buy into their nonsense. Now, that being said, I want to state again, because I want to be totally clear. Violence, no. Here, or when the victim is a left-wing organization, or whether when it's non-political, in all cases, I am saying no to using violence. Let's make the Family Research Council so irrelevant through information, outreach, critical thinking, not by firing the same guns that the right-wing domestic terrorists have used countless times in the last 10 years to try to get their objectives through. They may not know of any other ways to create change other than using guns, Lewis, but our side does, and I absolutely think that this is the wrong tactic. I completely condemn what happened yesterday. Let's use our tactics to make the FRC completely irrelevant.
Now, the details of this story are a little shady, but let's talk a little bit about what actually happened. Apparently, he shot a guard in the arm.
Right.
And then that same guard took his gun away?
Right.
As if he handed it to him, right?
The details seem to be that the guard was being a guard, and he managed to take the weapon away. Yeah, that's what it seems to be.
Okay. Do we know if this guy was shooting to kill or just wanted to cause a ruckus?
We don't know.
I mean, normally when this is happening, people are shooting to kill and are trying to get as many kills as possible. I mean, here the guard was shot in the arm, maybe intentionally in the arm. Who knows?
We don't know at this
Yeah.
point. But what I want to, ahead of all the details, what I want to say is I completely condemn using this means to protest what the Family Research Council does, which is despicable and hateful. Okay, that's